Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of the GOW, the Generation Wrestling Podcast. As always, yours truly, the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka EC's resident Isaac Hayes, King Tuco. Bro, what's good?
Man, what's good, man, is a good sleep. That's what was good, my boy. Woo.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got to enjoy the little bit of the eclipse today with the wifey, but other than that, boy, whew, some good sleeps, boy, some good sleeps. That's what's happening.
Man, some good sleep. But hey, look, man, so it is official. We have had the first WrestleMania completely ran by, thought of, created by, designed by, influenced by none other than the game Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. Bro, this is officially the first full WrestleMania without any Vince McMahon influence, input, anything, involvement, none of the sort. And bro, I will say this. You know what? Before we get started, kind of recap what happened. I was talking to somebody earlier, and they kind of said something that really, I guess now when you look at it in hindsight, I agree 100%. He said night one for him was storytelling. Night one was the storytelling aspect of WrestleMania. But he said last night was the entertainment part. That was the one for the fans. You know, he said the first night was all about the stories and, kind of, cutting, tying up loose ends. But he said last night was the entertainment, the spectacle, what we expected probably from night 1 and 2. And now that we got it complete, we sealed the chapter on that one. We enter in this new era of WWE under Triple H. I kind of agree with it. But I'm going to ask you this. When it comes to ranking WrestleMania as a whole, now that it's all said and done, now that we got all the shenanigans out the way, now that we got stories finished and stories started, what is your overall assessment of this year's WrestleMania?
I feel the opposite of what you're thinking. I felt night one wasn't the storytelling. I felt like night one was the entertainment. The only problem was the entertainment wasn't as entertaining as it should have been.
Yeah.
Night two was more of the story. Night two, to me, the Drew, Seth, CM Punk thing, and then added with the Damian Priest at the end coming in to cash in. That to me was more of a wrap up of a long-term story. Believe it or not. Bayley and Io was a wrap up of their story. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns was the wrap up of the story of everything of what we've really been going through pretty much since this man walked into WrestleMania 2 WrestleManias ago. Like it to me, that felt last night, that felt more of the story. To me, Saturday was more of the entertainment. It's WrestleMania, it's Saturday, it's night one. Here we go, and then it started off good with Rhea and Becky, and then we said it lacked something after that tag team match of Ray and Andrade and them. It was like after that, it just something was missing. And even we said it when we got to Drew and not Drew, Jimmy and Jay, we said something was missing. Like, man, something is missing? The tag team match was cool. You got to see them separate the championships, and we got to see brand new champions. So that was cool in itself. So there were some good things about night one. I'm not gonna say there wasn't some good things, but I felt night two was the more completing the story, because even I said it last night. I'm like, now we're finally here. Like now we're finally at the moment we've all really been waiting for. We've really been waiting for night two. We always know night one is going to be night one. Night one's WrestleMania. It's still WrestleMania. It doesn't take anything away from it. But what we were really waiting for, what we all really wanted to see, we all got it on night two. Everything completed and ended on night two. So, but as far as ranking this WrestleMania, it's up there. I don't know if I can put it in the top 10 of WrestleManias, which we may have to revisit and redo before WrestleMania 41. Now that we got 40 complete WrestleManias, we might actually have to may have to redig in the archives and reshuffle a few things. We've had a few WrestleManias since the last time we've done it. But I don't know if I could put this one in the top 10, but I'll put it in the top 20. I'll put it in the top 20 because there's a lot of WrestleManias that's not. There's only so many WrestleManias that's good from start to finish.
Yeah.
There are quite a few over the years where it might have started good, might have kind of slumped in the middle, but then it had a good finish, or there were some good matches in between or whatever. But there's only a select few that's on the this was the shit from the start to the beginning, and just put it on in order. I put this in the top 20.
I mean, I think the cool thing about this weekend, there was many ups, there's many downs, there's many highs, there's many lows. But we talk about Cody Rhodes finishing the story. And first of all, I want to say this before I get too much on Cody, because I'm gonna give Cody a lot of praise. I want to say, man, again, dude, I know as fans we talk shit. I know we have fun with this thing. I know we criticize, we critique. That's what we do. We don't do it out of anything personal or malicious. We do it, man, because first of all, hey, anything in sports and entertainment, hey, you're subject to criticism. When you step in front of that red light, hey, you either gonna get praised or you're gonna get booed or whatever the case may be. But it's all out of love, and as long as you keep it, business, there should be no personal involved. I want to say, man, Roman Reigns. Now that it is over, at least for the title era of Roman Reigns and the blood, I'm gonna say this, man. Shout out to Roman, dude. He has. I don't know if I've seen a bigger pivot, or at least not one that I can recall off the top of my head right now, of a character who was so universally hated at one point in time, completely shifted the gimmick, and has went on to have this dude literally has made tidal waves in the industry. Like the Bloodline made WWE cool again. And then, of course, he had the pandemic, he had AEW and other outside factors that led to, WWE stepping their shit up, especially once we came out of the pandemic. But, dude, the Bloodline was the best thing going for a while. How many times did it seem like the Bloodline story was over? In some way, somehow, they found a way to revamp it. They added, they subtracted. It's like we thought the Bloodline shit should have ended before Sammy got involved. It was getting stale. Then Sammy brought in another little bit of life into it. And then now you got the whole thing with the Jimmy and Jay. They finally going at it. That was speculated for a long time. And now you got Solo. What is Solo going to do? You done played on this thing with Seth back and forth. You done played on this thing with Drew back and forth. Like, there was times you really never knew. And then, of course, you add in The Rock. The Rock come in, and that adds another few months of longevity to it. And we still don't know what's going to happen with that. But, bro, Cody fucking Rhodes, brother. Hey, he went from undesirable to undeniable. And here's the thing, dude. Dijak put up a tweet, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or cut the celebration short, but I want to get your thought on this. I sent it to you earlier. Dijak said it might not be today, it might not be next week, hell, it might not be next month, it might not even be next year. But mark my words, there will be a time where you fans are going to go get so sick of Cody and you're going to boo the shit out of him and you're just going to get fed up. We've seen this happen time and time again. The fan base, you beg, you plead, you cry, you claw, you scratch for a person to get an opportunity. And then once they get that belt, once they get that opportunity, there's that moment in time when it's kind of like when the fans don't get what they want, when the story kind of get a little stale, when especially with a good guy, when they become a little too goody two shoes for too long and they don't turn, they turn on the guy or the girl. It happened to AEW. Cody Rhodes was a savior for AEW for that first year and a half. Then it got to a point to where the fans got sick of it, but Cody didn't give them what they wanted. And that played a little bit of a part of him leaving as well. Okay. Coming off of such a historic and a dominant title reign for Roman Reigns, and then you transition to a guy like Cody, who's been fighting this uphill battle for the last 3 years. Dude, I really only see this reign going one of two ways. Either there's going to be everything people want it to be, or people aren't going to be fully satisfied. What are your thoughts on that assessment?
He's not wrong. I think after a while of Cody what's the one thing I've been saying about Cody that I've been kind of just tired of lately?
The cutting.
It's the constant long monologues.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Politician.
the
Roman
same,
Reigns called him a politician.
he is, and it's the same kind of just the same speech all over every time. So it's like that's only going to go so far to where okay, yeah, we want it. But the thing is, people know Cody's story. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like we know his story. We know what he. Those of us who know Cody long enough or seen Cody when he first debuted in WWE, we know what the start was. We know where it went, and then we know how it failed.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
And then yeah, he did leave for a minute, and then he came back before he left again for good.
Yeah.
Um, and him leaving was the so and also Michael Cole said it best because Michael Cole said it, and I kind of chance to kind of rewatch a little bit of it,
Yeah.
just kind of without all the noise and us doing the show or not, and just kind of
Yeah.
hear everything that we didn't hear because we were talking. But Cody Rhodes, I mean, Michael Cole pretty much summed it all up, man. Like the guy was a star in the making. He came into the company, you know, he left disgruntled. He had to go become a superstar. He went and created something new and became a superstar, and which you know you can't even if you want to say, well, that was part of the reason why he left AEW. I would say it was the timing. It wasn't so much it was the part of it. It was just knowing after so many years, and especially considering you put yourself in a position where you could never win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
That's kind of what rubbed the people the wrong way because everyone, first of all, we all hated that stipulation because it was like, bro, forever. It was like it's one thing if you just say for like a year or something, but you said
Right.
as long as you was there, you pretty much had to leave your contract and go somewhere else to be able to come back and do this. So it almost kind of seems like it was just a time frame thing. It almost seemed like it was just a timing thing of yeah, I'm gonna help create this thing to prove that I can be this draw. And he did that with AEW, and he helped prove that them and the Young Bucks and Kenny that they could fill this arena and people would want to come see them wrestle their style. People would come and see and watch them wrestle their way and not Vince's way of wrestling. And another thing that was said last night that really lets me know that this is a new era. They actually said professional wrestling again.
Yeah.
Michael Cole said, "Man, I love they said I love professional wrestling is back, and I love professional wrestling." Like, and it's like we haven't heard commentators on WWE say professional wrestling. They always say superstars or they never say professional wrestling. They never talk about it like everyone else in AEW or TNA or Ring of Honor or anywhere else that the way they talked about it. They talked about it that way. So I just got to look at a lot of all of that and just really just take it in that we saw the last remnants
Yeah.
of what it was, and we saw the era of the new that Triple H was ushering in, and we just pretty much, hey man, we saw the last of what it was, and then we also saw the new of what's to come. So when you ask what Cody Rhodes' title reign is going to look like, it's going to look good because it's going to be fresh matchups. We're going to see the champion a little bit more than what we're used to seeing. You know, we know how we saw Seth. We had no problem with the World Heavyweight Championship, but now we're going to get that across the board, and we're going to get new matchups. People that we want to see get opportunities to see if they will,
Yeah.
and some will succeed. And we're going to see the new, and it's time for the new era. I mean, let's face it, man. All the people that we grew up watching, the Edges, the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, hell, the Rocks. I mean, they're coming back, but the Rock, we already know the Rock's been gone. But you know, the Undertaker, he's been gone for a minute. But they're the OGs, they're the legends, they're the guys that's gonna come by every now and then. Now we're now set for the truly new class. We've been
Yeah.
saying it for years. When is Vince gonna start pushing guys to look legit? You know, he always kept one or two, but you were leaving so many people at the wayside. Now I don't think we're gonna get that. Now there's gonna be more opportunity. You're gonna be able to showcase what you can do.
Well, I mean, it's funny you said that because, like you said, outside of, I feel like once you exited the Attitude Era, what's up, Daniel? What's up, Benjamin?
What's up, Daniel and Benjamin? Appreciate y'all, man.
I feel like once you exited the Attitude Era, you
Yeah.
had a few people that were, upper echelon, top tier talent. But I always
Yeah.
feel like John Cena, once he really got his footing after about what was that 2004, but really taking off in 2006.
Really, yeah, more like the 2003 when the Thugonomics era.
Yeah,
He was when he had the United States Championship. Like that's when he really was like, yeah, that's that dude.
yeah, I feel like once he kind of took the mantle, you've always had the Randy Ortons, you always had the Edges, Triple H was at the middle end of his career, Shawn Michaels same. So I feel like John Cena was always that guy, and
Mhm.
you would kind of have people to kind of give John a little competition, like the Brock Lesnar's come back every now and then, at the end the Goldbergs, the 2016s, the AJ Styles, but John Cena was always that guy. And what's the one thing that we complained about? What is the one thing we complained about? When John Cena was out of the picture, it was like you knew no matter what happened with the title, it was always a setup for when Cena came back. We always knew no matter who they pushed, Cena was the guy. And then
Mhm.
Roman Reigns, when Roman Reigns and the Shield first came up, Roman Reigns was always positioned as that guy. I remember when the Shield, when they had their first debut, when they had their first SummerSlam debut, Roman Reigns setting the records. I remember Roman Reigns set a record at the Rumble. Roman was always primed to be the guy. And the only reason he wasn't the guy officially beforehand was because the crowd rejected it. The crowd was always in favor with the Seth Rollins. The crowd was always in favor with the Dean Ambroses. So, WWE, they've been trying to make him the guy. And even in between that, they tried to make Braun Strowman the guy at one point. That didn't work. But it was always meant for Roman. Even with Goldberg coming back, it was always meant for Roman.
I don't even think it was meant for Roman. I think the problem and the reason why the fans was rejecting it is because Roman represented that type of guy that the people didn't really want to see anymore.
It was John Cena all over again.
It was, but it's the big burly guy that that era of wanting to see is not there anymore. And I think that's what a lot of us are used to. A lot of us who grew up watching the Hulk Hogan eras, you used to seeing these big beefy guys beat up everybody, but these guys had no substance because they were great workers. They knew how to work the ring, but they weren't the wrestlers and the in-ring technicians that a lot of the people that you see now. And I think that's the difference is that we wanted to see more of the Dean Ambrose, kind of, different style of how he approached it. We wanted to see the Seth Rollins style of how they approached it. The Roman Reigns was basic. It represents the old school in a way, which is not wrong. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's tradition. It's the thing that we've all, we want to get out of a great wrestling match. You want storytelling in your match. At least when you're having two guys putting on a great match, you got to be able to tell the story within your actions. And Roman learned how to do that as time went on. But man, who was the exciting guys you wanted to see? Seth and Dean were the exciting guys. And that's what the transition was changing from. But Vince was still pushing Roman. That's you think about that, man. He pushed Roman so much that Roman took, no matter what Roman did, he got booed for years. And he was still a fan favorite, but he was still getting booed because it was like, dude, how many times do we got to watch this man lose and still get an opportunity when other people can get opportunities? We shouldn't have watched Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, Bobby Lashley. When Bobby Lashley came back, dude, how many more years did we wait till he had to get another to get his first championship? How long did we have to wait for Drew? It was like there were guys that were there you could have really did more with, but you didn't, and it took forever because you prolonged it. Where now we don't feel like that's going to be a thing. There's going to be a place and a time and opportunity. You just got to make it happen.
Well, what did John Cena say when he came back? Don't forget that, that infamous Suffer and Succotash promo, with John Cena, Roman Reigns in the ring. I remember this specifically years ago. This always stuck out to me. John Cena says, the only reason I am here is because you can't do your job. I remember that. That stuck with me. Prophetic words. And now you got Roman Reigns in the bloodline, bro. Look at how many people just by feuding with Roman and or a member of the bloodline that they've had a prominent role in WWE. When you look at it now when Roman first started, Roman was that guy. You had AJ Styles. You was off and on with Shinsuke, but now that his reign is over, bro, we look at it. Sami Zayn's out here doing this thing, bro, being respectable again. KO doing his thing again. You know, you have so many. Damian fucking Priest, Drew McIntyre. Like, dude, WWE right now, I feel like if Roman was to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months off, it wouldn't matter because right now you have so many guys and girls right now you could truly lean on. And I think that was the issue because John Cena was we talk about WWE being a monopoly in the wrestling industry. John Cena was the monopoly of WWE because it felt like, dude, they put so much stock in Cena that if you didn't have Cena, it was like, oh my God, man, damn. It's like everybody else has been made to look like such a fucking joke. It's like, you know, it's hard to get behind the push because as soon as you start to like somebody, you know, they might not be doing shit the next week. But now I feel like right now, dude, you got so much long-term storytelling. Where we go with Seth, you know, Seth might be taking time. Is he taking time off? We don't know. Solo, okay, Roman's seemingly out the way for now. Where do we go with Solo? Jimmy J. What's next for these guys? On the women's side, Bailey, she got it. Okay, Real. What's next for Real? You know, there's so much. There's so many moving pieces. Damian Priest, for the last 2.5 years, let's not forget, he finished his story because when Damian came up to the main roster, he was off and on as a singles guy. Then he got slapped with the Judgment Day. And then it's like, okay, now you got to have a match with Bad Bunny. And now you got to have another match with Bad Bunny. And then it's like, bro, when is he going to get his time? Money in the Bank. Finally get it. How many times did we say, bro, like, oh my God, he about to cash in, Nope. Come out, fail. Bro, what the fuck? Dude, this is the moment. Somebody else said this, and then I'm going to kind of move on from Cody. I want to ask you about this. Then we got to get to these comments. Dude, I said this when Rhea Ripley, when she lost to Charlotte Flair, coming up from NXT, everybody like, man, what the fuck? We at the moment we feel like that was the biggest fucking burial. Damn, it's over for Rhea, you know. And then we seen
it was because that was Vince's decision, and we know that Charlotte was against that. Like she's like, no, I don't have a problem with losing to her because we need to show that she's that next thing coming up into the company. So just to be fair and clear on that. Charlotte was against winning that match. She didn't want to win that match. She wanted to lose it to give Rhea that love because she saw what we all knew.
But I say this to say this. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch said the same thing. Becky said she was against coming back and beating Belair the way she did because Belair was on such a run and Becky been gone for so long. But it wasn't her call. It was Vince. But Becky had the respect enough to tell Carmella, because Carmella's supposed to have a match as well. Hey, Carmella, hey, this is what's going to happen. And she told Bianca, hey, Bianca, I promise I'm going to do right by you. And it was Becky's promise to Bianca on her going over at the biggest showcase of the Immortals and, gave Bianca back her time. Again, that seemed like, man, Bianca, she done for it. Kofi treatment all over again. And then we look at this, bro. Seth Rollins, WrestleMania 39. Hollywood, California. It seemed like, bro, was the perfect opportunity. Just came back off an injury, won the Royal Rumble. Bro, it was a fairy tale to behold. Then he lost. 1, 2, 3. But look what we got last night. I feel like last night was the bigger moment because now you got a whole nother year of people. Is he going to do it? Can he do it? The whole tagline was finish the story. Now I got a two-parter for you. Now that the story's finished, is that the most interesting part of Cody Rhodes? Because we always love the chase. Everybody loves an underdog. But now, guess what? You can't claim on to, I got to do this for Dusty. I got to get this to Michelle Rubio. Nah, you did it for Dusty. You gave the title to Michelle Rubio. You finished the story. What does Cody have to do now to be interesting? Because people was already getting bored with him because of the gimmick, but they stayed on because they need to see him finish the story. And then two, my last part of this one is for you as well. Now that we got this new era that's coming in right now, what do you think needs to be done to truly separate the Paul Levesque era from the Vince McMahon
era? Well, I'll answer the second one first. To what does Triple H need to do? Continue doing what he's been doing, giving people opportunity, letting us see new folks, giving people the space to be what they need to be.
Yeah,
I've questioned that about Bronson Reed, but I also understood about the timing of what the season was and what was going to happen. So you know, for a lot of people, we were wondering, well, what are they going to do with them? Where they been? we have to understand once you get to a certain time of the year and certain matches start to look like, oh, this looks like this is about to be a WrestleMania thing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, if you don't become a part of that, you kind of don't become a part of the story for those coming months, that road to WrestleMania. And we know how that road to WrestleMania starts to, clamper down on for what they're going to, what they're going to do.
Right.
But him winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, I told you, I said, man, even though this was on a SmackDown, this was a moment for him, because this was a moment for him to kind of get his name out there with a lot of eyes, a lot of people that may not be familiar. And then because he did that, he can make a nice mark for himself moving forward. And then that's what we're going to see with Andrade. That's what we're going to see with a lot of these guys. We're going to see different. We're still going to see different matchups now. We're gonna just get a different vibe and feel. The vibe and feel that we've missed since the SmackDown 6, since the Ruthless Aggression era. And to me, that era is more of the better wrestling era. I love the Attitude Era, but the Attitude Era was more for the characters and the storyline. The Ruthless Aggression Era was more for it was more of the storyline, but the matchups we got, the Kurt Angles versus the Eddie Guerreros, just the Jerichos versus whoever you want to, the Edges and the Christians and all the people that we saw that were just so great in the ring, as far as not just being entertaining, but with the work that they put on in the ring. Like that's to me is where we're getting back to. What did Cody say? The Renaissance era. Yeah, this is the Renaissance era of what pro wrestling really is, man. We're getting back to it. Don't get me wrong. I understand the old flip kicks and flippy doos are an issue. The multiple super kicks that everybody is hating about. But I had an epiphany about that it's nothing. What we're seeing now is just the evolution of wrestling.
Yeah.
And when you think about, well, why are so many of these people doing super kicks and all these suicide dives and all these things over? It's just because these are the people that we watch. These are the people that they were watching growing up. You got to think about it for people like me who are older than me and older than me. We're growing up with the Hulk Hogan's and the bruisers. We grew up with the big guys that were strong and just beat you down. Where a lot of these newer people, they grew up with the high flyers. They grew up with the acrobats, the athletics of wrestling, not just the brutality of it. You have more athletes in wrestling now because it has become more athletic, because it's become about the spot. It's become about the coming off the ropes and jumping and twisting and flipping onto the outside. Like that's become the new highlight. And that's what inspires a whole new generation of people to come in. So when you look at people doing super kicks, that's just everybody who watched Shawn Michaels and wanted to do the super kick. When you look at people do swanton bombs and everything else, that's just the effect of people watching Jeff Hardy do the things that he do. When you look at Rey Mysterio, and I'm a big fan of Rey Mysterio, I can see the effect that Rey Mysterio had on people, the way he moved, the way Eddie moved, the way that a lot of these faster wrestlers move. And this is just the new era, and they do need to slow it down and be able to tell the story a little better. But when you look at guys, and I got to give it to the Kenny Omegas and the Will Ospreys and all them type of guys, when we watch those guys and we watch the matches that they're having in AEW, we're like, man, this is reminiscent of something. This is that shit that we've been talking about, that we've been needing to see, that shit you got to let breathe. So.
Right.
So for me, I feel like what Triple H needs to do is just continue to do what the new movement has been. It's about wrestling. Yeah, we can be entertaining. Yeah, we can do the goofy shit. But at the end of the day, no matter what company you are, you gotta give the people what the show is called: wrestling. I don't care if you're World Wrestling Entertainment. I don't care if you're All Elite Wrestling. I don't care if you're Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. I don't care if you're Ring of Honor Wrestling. I don't care if you're New Japan Wrestling. It's about the wrestling. It's about what goes on inside that match and inside that ring. So therefore, he continues to do that. The era will be great, because we're out of that superstar that.
Yeah.
You're the superstar. No, bump that. Of course, they're superstars. Of course, they're global, but they're wrestlers. This is professional wrestling, man. There's an art to this shit, and damn it, you gonna put some respect on it. And they putting respect on it.
Man,
Cody's run, and what Cody's title run needs to be. It just
yeah,
needs it needs to he needs to write a new chapter. You finished the story. The story is over. That part of the story is over. Now it's about how good of a champion will you be. That's the new story that Cody needs to write. He needs to come out how much of a fighting champion. Because one thing we gonna respect about Seth Rollins,
yeah,
regardless, we might joke about bad bitch Rollins when he comes out in his attire.
yeah.
We may joke about the Mister No Sale something from time to time. But the one thing we will always put respect on is when it came time to, hey, I can beat you for that championship and I want to fight.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go. Come on. Let's see if you can do it. And that's what he did. So, and that's what we respect. That's what we love, and that's what we wanted to see. So we'll see that from Cody. Cody's going to give more opportunity. More guys are going to be able to show that they deserve to be here, and they're going to show you why they deserve to be here. And and I don't honestly, I'm going to put a time frame on Cody's run. He may do a year. He may do a year. And this is where Dijak's theory comes into play because depending on who else comes up, depending on who that next person that the fans are going to say, like, you know what, we want to see this dude be champion. Cody's
Right.
going to have his run. He's going to get his moments, and I'm going to put maybe a 6 to 8 month run on it. He don't need to have a long. He don't need to hold it from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. But if he does, that's fine. But he's losing. You're not finna go on. You're not finna be John Cena about the shit, and you damn sure ain't finna be Roman Reigns about it.
So this is what I see with him. I don't see him having a long reign per se. I see respectable, like 4 to 6 months, but I see him having.
I'm giving him to about 6 to 8. I feel like he's gonna run the rest of the year. Like I feel like he's gonna hold the title to maybe about the Royal Rumble or something. And if he doesn't lose it by then, he'll lose it by Mania.
But you know what? I feel like he won't have what is it, a long reign, but he'll have a few reigns. No, I feel like
He'll have a memorable reign. He'll have a respectable reign. He's going to fight some good people. He's going to fight people we want to see in the matchup. We're going to get some different matchups. We're going to see some things, people that were like, oh man, okay, Cody's fighting this guy or whoever shows up. So we're going to get different. They're going to switch up the rosters. They're going to get a draft. We're going to switch things up. We got a new world heavyweight champion. We got a new Cody's technically on Raw. He just won the title for SmackDown. So we're going to see how all that things play out. We got time to see. We got time, man, because now it's a new era. Now everything's up in the air. So I don't have an expectation so much other than just seeing what we constantly and consistently been seeing. And that's just growth of everybody.
Bro, I want to talk about the other new champions that we got before we get out of here. But before we do that, can we please hit some of these comments real quick with the people?
Man, bro, the people, first and foremost, man, shout out to the people because y'all just been rocking with us, man. We told y'all this WrestleMania week was gonna go from Monday to Monday. We here, y'all been with us. We appreciate you. Triple H Curvin says, man, Triple H new Triple H era time for Montez Ford to be single talent. Montez versus Logan Paul needs to happen. That actually.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Hold on. Montez versus Logan, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be opposed to see that shit happen at SummerSlam. Give it to me for the United States Championship.
I'm not against that. I'm not against Montez on the singles run because we all feel it's going to happen for him. We're just not sure. It's not looking like it's going to be anytime soon. We're not sure what's going to happen. But then again, it's a new era. We don't know what's going to go down. Of course, Doug says, "What's up, Doug? What's up, guys? Of course, what's up with you, hillbilly? To the hillbilly, baby. I'm just wondering what Paul Heyman is going to do now. Maybe manage Braun Breaker. I mean, he may take some time off because he's been going strong with this wise man character. So I could see him taking a little time off and maybe coming back. If he's still within the family, I could see him pushing solo. If anybody." I can see him coming back to push solo. Then of course he says, Kervin says Roman Reigns makes Braun Strowman he made him in 2017, but they didn't do nothing with it. Doug says, man, even Roman won just about all his matches. He helped elevate the guys who lost against him. And he did, because a lot of those guys were guys you never thought. a lot of those guys, let's be honest, even though Vince was around, but there was a point where Triple H was kind of having more of an influence. A lot of those guys wouldn't have had those opportunities if it wasn't for Triple H's input, his influence, and just saying, "Hey, man, who else are you going to put out here? You ain't got nobody else. You got to use what you got because you're not promoting new champ. You're not building up new guys to look legit. You're burying everybody for one person, and you can't keep doing that. You did that with Cena. You buried a lot of people with Cena, but the only difference was there was more people that actually could win championships besides Cena. You didn't have that with really towards the end with Roman Reigns or the beginning of with Roman Reigns or the end of Cena and the beginning of Roman Reigns. You kind of just stuck with a few, and then it just stuck to Brock Roman, maybe someone else, and then Brock Roman, then maybe Seth, then Brock Roman. Like you didn't really build it onto nobody else. Oh, and then Goldberg 2 times, but I digress from that. Doug also says, man, I can't believe Jay cut her hair, but she is still pretty lady. Oh, it's all good, man. It'll grow back. Black women in their hair, it's a thing. Don't worry about it. She'll get it back. Jordan says, man, are we still Cody crybabies? Yeah, because now everyone's crying because he won the story. So, but no, we shouldn't be anymore. I mean, now it's going to be.
He finished it. He finished
it.
Yeah.
He got it. Everyone's happy. Now we'll see how long before they turn on him.
Right.
So since Roman lost, does that mean the bloodline is done and over? Pretty much. I mean, the bloodline is. I mean, it was pretty much done and over when Jay left. It was just a fraction of what the team really was. And right now, Jimmy needs to find his new way because the Usos are done as a tag team. Solo needs to go on his own route. So yeah, I would say the bloodline is over. Did Kobe fan? He says, did WWE sign Jacob Fatu? They did sign Jacob Fatu. Doug says, I might be wrong, but I don't see Priest holding that title belt long. Priest, I actually can see him holding the title for a while, but I can also see him being in the mixture of this Drew and CM Punk storyline. Because Seth's gonna take a little time off until he's ready to come back. And I'm pretty sure when he comes back, he's gonna want a shot at the title. And Drew, and then we can get. I wouldn't mind a Drew McIntyre, a Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. I wouldn't mind a CM Punk versus Damian Priest. I wouldn't mind a Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I wouldn't mind seeing all 4 of them in a 4-way or a 3-way match. I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. So, if a battle of the whatsoever. We lost the franchise for a second. He's loading up.
Okay. I'm here.
Doug says, man, who do you think will be the first one? Are you good? Okay. Who will be the first one to challenge Cody? That's a good question.
You know what's crazy?
I would put Walter up there.
I got you. It's got to be Seth. And here's why I say it's got to be Seth. Seth, first of all, Seth didn't turn on him like we all thought he did. Seth did exactly what he said he was going to do. Poetic justice. I will be
yours. We're talking about right now, though, man.
Seth.
But Seth is, but women no, but is Seth about to stick around just to have this first match, or is Seth about to take some time off? And if Seth taking time off, then Seth's not the first person. You got you got a pay-per-view coming up in a month's time. They got a pay-per-view coming up in a month, so you gotta have somebody. So if it's not Seth, then and that's the only reason why I'm not saying Seth, because if he is going to take some time off, I don't expect to see him. So who's that other person? I'm saying Walter, but it could be too early for that because Cody just got it, and you don't want Walter losing right now.
I was just about to say that. You don't want him losing back to back like that.
But he just lost the Intercontinental Championship, and we didn't think he was going to lose that right now. We thought he was going to hold on to that for a little bit longer and then lose it. I actually thought his reign was going to be more closer to his NXT UK run of 800 something days. I thought he was going to do that with this Intercontinental Championship. That's why I was okay with him beating Sammy. You know, if it was Gable, then Chad Gable, then that would have been different, because I think that would have been a different moment. But I don't know. I don't know, but I don't. It could be anybody right now. Honestly, you can have a who's who of people that want to prove themselves. That's the good thing about this new era. To be honest, it's a new era. So really, it's a clean slate for a lot of people to just get an opportunity just to try to show what they can do. And some will make it, some won't, but we'll see who can and who can't.
No,
Doug loved at us, and then Doug says, "I'm a Cody happy baby." That's who I thought, and he said he thought Seth too. But if Seth's not going to take any time away, then fine. But that means Seth's about to lose his 4th match in a row to Cody. I'm still not a fan of this, man. You're not telling me Cody's just much better. He's not that much better than Seth to where Cody is just gonna dominate Seth and Seth can't beat him. I don't buy that. That I do not buy. I will never buy that. But that's why I'm not really hyped to put Seth as first.
No, I got you, bro, man. Look, we done gave the people 40 minutes. We still got to come back on later, but I do want to run through the other champions. Rhea Ripley, mommy, she retained her belt against Becky Lynch. You got Damian Priest again cashing in, becoming your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But we can't forget Drew. That we said we got to finish the story. His story was just to hold the world title in front of fans. He got a chance to get his moment, and he didn't get cashed on right away. He actually had a chance to soak in, talk a little shit, walk around with it. There we go. Sami Zayn beat Gunther. Didn't think that was gonna happen. It did. R-Truth and the motherfucking Miz. The Awesome Truth are tag team champions. And hey, look, two guys we didn't know how they would work as a tag team. A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They got some gold as well. And then Bayley. It has all come full circle for her after 2 years of being back in WWE, being a mouthpiece for Damage Control. Dude, she's holding gold once again. So we are definitely entering a new era. I'm excited to see what goes down on Raw tonight. And I'm excited to come back and talk to you and see, man, like how we truly feel after this episode going into the next one.
For sure.
And how fitting is it that we get a new era of Raw on the first episode of the GOW after our 1000th episode? Like, I feel like everything is just so poetic today.
Man, well, of course we
on the day of the eclipse.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? It just really feel like a new era. Like, all right, man, all the bullshit of old, leave that shit on the other side of the sun. Now that the sun that came back out on the other side, hey, new time, new era, new shit. I can see Solo holding the IC or US title belt. I can too. I definitely do see that. I did want to come on at the start of Raw today, but I gotta go pick up my baby girl, and her game is almost over with. So
I gotta cook. But depending on when you get home, let's do this. Depending on when you get home, the first hour of Raw is supposed to be hour free, commercial free. Depending on when you get back home, let's try to at least catch the last half hour, 20 minutes of the first hour, if you got enough time.
Yeah. No. I should be back in that time. No, we should be back because we can talk about what happened. You know what I'm saying? Just to see how things. Because I know either Cody or Damage Control, either Judgment Day or Cody's coming out first. I wouldn't be surprised if Judgment Day. Coming out, both champions. You got the retaining champion and the new champion. Them coming out. We're gonna see if that rubs the wrong way of Finn Balor or anybody like that. Or whatnot, or if Cody comes out, and let's see who's the first challenger. Will he have his first title defense tonight on the show? What's going to happen? Who's going to debut? Who we're going to see? We'll be back. Like I said, I'm actually getting ready to go live and get her in a few, because that game is almost over. So we'll come back on. It's the new era, man. We'll see how the first hour goes through. We'll talk about it, and then we'll come back and finish off the night. And then we won't see y'all again until Wednesday, because we definitely man. But we will see you guys in about an hour or so. We got some fatherly duties things to take care of, and then, man, we'll be right back, man.
Well, with that being said, I'm the franchise, he's the king, and here's Tony Storm.
Chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.